Hello everyone, our focus for this video is the product rule. Now here on the board I have the product rule. Let me just explain the product rule. If y is equal to f times g, so let's say you have two functions which is f of x multiplied by g of x, and you want to differentiate these functions, then dy by dx is equal to the derivative of the f function multiplied by the g function plus the f function multiplied by the derivative of the g function. And let me just show you how this works by working these three examples over here. So let's look at the first one. So we have y is equal to x cubed sine x. Alright? You are asked to differentiate this with respect to x. We know that dy by dx is equal to the derivative of the f function multiplied by the g function plus the f function multiplied by the derivative of the g function, right? Now, what you can do is to write a statement to say let f, which is the f function, equal x cubed, and also let g equal sine x, right? Because if you have x cubed, this is saying x cubed times sine x, so you have two functions, right? So we call the first one, which is x cubed, f, call the second one, which is sine x, g. So from this formula is saying that we need the derivative of the f function. So we can go ahead and find the derivative of the f function, which is written as f prime, which is equal to, differentiate x cubed, you take the power to multiply the coefficient of x, that gives you 3, keep the x, subtract 1 from 3, that gives you 2, so that's it. Now we need the derivative of the g function, so g prime is equal to, differentiate sine x, that just gives you cos x, right? All you need to do is to just fill up this in this formula and you're finished. So dy by dx is equal to the derivative of f, which is 3x squared, so 3x squared, all of that, multiplied by the g function. What's the g function? The g function is sine x, so all of this times sine x, plus the f function. The f function is x cubed, so this is x cubed multiplied by the derivative of the g function. The derivative of the g function here is cos x. Right? And that's it. Let's look at the second example. Y is equal to 2x plus 3 all raised to the fourth power multiplied by cos x, right? And you are asked to differentiate this function using the product rule, then dy by dx is equal to the derivative of the f function times the g function plus the f function times the derivative of the g function. That's basically it. All you need to do is to just say let f equal first part of the function, which is 2x plus 3 raised to the fourth power, which is 2x plus 3 raised to the fourth power. Alright? Now from this formula, we know that we need the derivative of f. So let's just go ahead and find the derivative of f. Find the derivative of f, which is written as f prime. Differentiate this function. We can differentiate this function using the chain rule. So if you differentiate this function using the chain rule, you take the power to multiply the entire function, so it is 4 times the entire function, which is 2x plus 3, subtract 1 from the power, which is, so this is raised to the third, multiply that by the derivative of the bracket. So if you differentiate the bracket, which is 2x plus 3, that does give you 2. Now you can simplify this a little bit to give you f prime is equal to 2 times 4, give you 8, open bracket, 2x plus 3 all raised to the third power. So that's it. Now we need g, right? So we could say let g equal to cos x, right? Now we also need the derivative of the g function. So the derivative of the g function here, differentiate cos x, that gives you minus sin x, right? So all we need to do is to substitute these values into this formula and we're finished. So dy by dx is equal to the derivative of f, which is just this function here, which is 8 open bracket 2x plus 3, all of that raised to the third power, right? Times the g function, and the g function here is cos x, so it's times cos x, right? Plus, running out of space, plus the f function. The f function here is 2x plus 3, all of that raised to the fourth power, times the derivative of the g function, and the derivative of the g function is times minus sin x, right? And that's it. So that's how you would use the product rule to differentiate a function, right? So let's look at the final example. So let's look at the final example, which says y is equal to x plus 7 all raised to the 7th power times the square root of 4x minus 3. You're asked to differentiate this function with respect to x, but you must use the product rule. Then dy by dx is equal to the derivative of the f function multiplied by the g function plus the f function times the derivative of the g function. That's it. So again, you could say let f equal x plus 7 raised to the 7th power, right? Now that's just f, but from this formula we have f, but we also need the derivative of f. So we could just find the derivative of f, which is f prime equal to, for differentiate x plus 7 raised to the 7th power, we would have to use the chain rule. Chain rule states that you take the power to multiply the entire function. So we take the power, which is 7, to multiply the entire function, which is x plus 7, and we must subtract 1 from the power, so 7 minus 1 gives us 6. Also, we must multiply that by the derivative of the inside of the bracket here, which is x plus 7. The derivative of x plus 7 is just 1. Alright? All we need is the g function, right? Now, here, the g function, we could say let g equal to the root of 4x minus 3, right? But note that we could write the root of 4x to some power, which is g is equal to 4x minus 3, all of that raised to the 1/2, right? By rewriting the problem, it makes it easier for us to find the derivative of g. So now we need the derivative of g. So derivative of g, which is written as g prime, is equal to, take this half to multiply the entire function. So this is going to be half times the entire function, which is 4x minus 3 raised to the half minus 1 give us negative a half, multiplied by the derivative of the inside of the bracket, which is 4x minus 3, and that's just 4. Right? We could simplify this to give us g prime is equal to half times 4 is just 2, so this is just 2, open bracket, 4x minus 3, all raised to the negative 1 over 2. All we need to do is to substitute all of this value into the formula and we're finished. So therefore, dy by dx is equal to the derivative of the f function. The derivative of the f function is 7. Is 7 open bracket x plus 7 raised to the 6th power. Right? That must be multiplied by the g function, and the g function here is 4x minus 3, all of that raised to the 1/2, and that must be added to the f function, which is x plus 7 raised to the 7, x plus 7 raised to the 7th power, and that must be multiplied by the differential of the g function, which is 2 open bracket 4x minus 7, 4x minus 3, all of that raised to the negative 1/2, right? Right? So that's it. But we could also clean it up a little bit more here. So let me just show you how you could clean it up a little bit more. So this you could write as dy by dx is equal to 7x plus 7, all of that raised to the 6th power, times 4x minus 3, all of that raised to the 1/2. Here, you could bring this 2 to the front, so this could be plus 2 open bracket x plus 7, all of that raised to the 7th power, times 4x minus 3, all of that raised to the negative 1 over 2. Yes, and that's it.